for some reason the camera just turned off.
I don't know.
Okay, go live.
Okay, let's cuddle up again. All right, can you see it? Cool.
Okay, I think we might actually be back.
Okay, so make sure you're in the frame.
Okay, excellent connection. Oops, say something.
Wait for everybody to get back.
Let's see.
All right, I think we're back actually.
Well, hopefully, we'll see. Give it a second. Concurrent viewers 5.
We'll give it a second to get back and we'll get back to what we're talking about.
Yes.
Okay, good. That's at least one person.
Okay.
We'll give it.
Hopefully, the rest of the people find us again.
Okay, so come back a bit so people can actually see you on camera.
Oh, sorry.
All right, let's see. Awesome.
Excellent.
Let's wait till our camera's back in frame.
Your thing died.
Good there. Okay, so let's just see if everything's coming up.
The difference
Back
is
up a little
I need
bit.
to be here.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Cuddle up close. Yes.
Oh, there she is. Good stuff.
Okay, where were we? We're talking about
All right,
selection
so
process.
we're back to the selection process and politics and HEMA. So, I mean, we were talking about Jacob Norwood and Michael Ellison, they're the delegates from North America and Minsk.
Mm-hmm.
They did, and honestly, the team's failure does rest on them. Now, we just said the Russians, they held this huge tournament, and they took their best fighters, which I think is what everyone should have done. This is like the smartest thing you could have done. It paid off in spades. The results show for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They had lots of their top guys winning. I think this might have swept an event. Someone told me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they look really like a strong team today on the live streaming. So I mean, that speaks for itself. Yeah, North America's big. Russia's big. We could have held the Central Tournament, which is what we should have done.
Yeah, like I said, the initial argument of, well, people can't afford to travel. Well, if you can't afford to travel for the event, you probably couldn't afford to go to Minsk anyway. So, I mean, yeah, no, I think it would have been a much better idea.
Yeah, it would have been. And you know what? Having that level of fairness was key to our success, as proven, because the majority of these picks, we all know it, they were all political. They're all people who basically suck up to Jake and Mike. They're popular on Facebook, the majority of them, other than maybe like a few like Rob Childs, who's like just legitimately so good you couldn't like not pick him.
No, this is true.
That would have been like a crime to not have picked him. And being the only person who medaled from North America, it shows that, yep, again, there he is. He was right, and he was supposed to be where he was supposed to be. But I mean, you just gotta look at his numbers to know how good he is.
No, this is true too.
So, the political picks versus legitimate fighting skill, it is a serious problem. It is outlined here, and this is again East Coast bias we're seeing, sadly. So, and it's actually pretty sad because you see this at Long Point, you see this for the way that whole crowd rolls over there. I mean, I'm not too impressed. It could have been done better. In fact, it should have been done better. And I'd say the two of them actually owe the fighters in North America a public apology for their absolutely terrible judgment in their picks.
Well, just relying on, who they talk to the most.
Yeah, who's my buddy today?
It just yeah, it wasn't fair to the area that was represented.
And this is a huge region. We could have had a huge tournament, and there were lots of talent. One thing I can definitely say is Team North America did not accurately represent the talent that is on this continent and region at all. There are just so many better fighters they could have picked, but that would have required really good judgment.
That would have required more effort.
Way more effort, a great deal more effort. But they didn't want to do that. They had their ideas, and as shown, their ideas didn't work out so well. So I mean, even when it came to choosing your alternates, here's Arturo Camargo on the alternates list. This is a guy who probably would have made top 8, probably medal. He would have taken his training really, really seriously. Mm-hmm. I know the guy personally. He is a strong fighter, excellent fighter. When Dustin Reagan dropped out, no, didn't choose Camargo. Didn't choose the guy who's medaling, winning, bringing the top people to his country, going out in the world and fighting other people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why choose him, right? Like, why would you choose a guy who's like 10 years tournament experience and proven and in his prime?
No, absolutely.
Ridiculous. They should, in the tournament itself, it should have held the rules, agreed upon rules for Minsk. So they should have held a tournament using those rules to see who fenced best under them. I mean, it's common sense.
No, that would have been a much better decision.
And if you were like, well, there's so many people who would want to attend, fine. You know what?
Well, like I said, if you had that overwhelming amount of attendance, and you could have had it broken down into smaller regional, and then just do it that way. We'll just we have 10 spots. We'll have not necessarily 10 regions, but you could have whittled it down.
Yeah, you could have totally whittled it down. But at the same time, they could just go through the list, invite clubs to send their best people.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what?
Or heck, even contacted clubs in the areas and say, who are your best people? Send them to this event.
Yeah, exactly.
I can honestly tell you, if we had been contacted by the organizers and said we wanted to send, Julian or Jesse or
we would
whoever,
have made it happen.
we would have sponsored them through the club. We could have done fundraising and whatnot to get our people there. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it could have been done.
But it wasn't. So I mean, I honestly, and I heard lots of excuses, and I was always like, okay, if the Russians could do it with this gigantic country they're in, that's like half barren, tons of trees, lots of snow. If they can do it, we couldn't do it. Really, ridiculous, completely ridiculous. So, in future, I'm hoping that I'm probably getting my hopes up too high, but I would like to see a dedicated tournament to sending people to an event like this. This way, you have more proper representation for your team. You have people doing it, getting their spots through merit, and that I think is the most important thing. It has to be through merit, not through who you're buddies with, not how popular on Facebook you are with your posts. I mean, this is like endemic. The social media whoring of HEMA, it's endemic and it's absolutely ridiculous.
Because you post a pretty picture on Facebook does not make you a fighter.
That is absolutely a fact. Now you can post pretty pictures and still be a fighter, but like the prettiest pictures of a fighter usually have medals around their neck and beers in their hands afterwards,
Well,
or a glass of wine.
No, medals being the most important part.
Well, that's exactly it. We were supposed to be sending people out there to compete, kick some butt, and
Well, you're supposed to be
stuff
sending
home.
the best representation for your region.
I-
This is the best we have to offer.
We certainly did not do that.
You're-
We sent basically Mike and Jake's buddies
Mm-hmm.
and Rob Childs.
Anticipating talk about technique, just how bad was America showing?
As you might have missed it, Mr. Leong. Basically, Rob Childs got one medal.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
Yes.
We really appreciate you salvaging the dumpster fire. I mean, we're gonna really make some friends with this one, but I mean, it is what it is. So, that's what we have talked about. This overall week performance is not so much on the athletes. They want to go, of course, because everybody wants their opportunity, and I mean, but we could have had better people, just sheerly that actually represent the diversity of our talent on this continent.
Yeah. Well, I honestly don't think some people took it seriously enough, and that was part of the problem. Is they were thinking that it's just this little exhibition thing, and nobody's really going to be watching. I'm sorry, but a lot of people are paying attention.
A lot of people are paying
This was
attention.
supposed to be HEMA's debut in
Pre-Olympics.
Yeah, exactly, to the world. And I know the Russians took it seriously, and I'm pretty sure.
And good on them for doing that.
Yeah,
Good on the Russians for taking it
absolutely.
seriously.
So I mean, there was a bunch of people. I mean, even here that were not, training to their potential or treating this with the
Yeah.
severity that they should have.
And just for the record, I'm past my prime. I'm in school. I have no time to be training for this. I didn't even apply because I was like, you know what? I can't do this justice. If I was to do this justice and go there to compete, I would probably look at dropping another 30 pounds of fat, build up my muscle. My coach TJ would have me on a brutal routine And I would be probably fencing 3 to 5 days a week,
Any of our guys,
like
given
20
this,
hours a
given
week
this
preparation.
opportunity, would have been busting their ass just to make sure that they put in a good showing.
Well, even any of our actual fighters, right?
Yeah, no,
So I
absolutely.
mean, realistically, that is what it should have taken. When you have an athletic opportunity like this, to slack off and not take your training seriously, it's not just a slap in the face to the event. It's a slap in the face to your art. It's like the level of sloth involved in such a decision. It's abhorrent. You have to take your training seriously. You have to take your competitors seriously,
No, absolutely.
especially when you're on a world stage. I don't care about this whole
I mean,
exhibition
it's
idea.
lovely that you're invited and that you were chosen, but if you're not going to put in the time and the sweat equity, you don't deserve to be there.
Yeah, sweat equity is really the thing here.
Yeah.
And I know from what I'm told, well, those Russians training, they did take it seriously, and it showed. Again, it showed in their results.
Mm-hmm.
So if the world was like watching, and looking smartly, they should be like, man, there's a lot of these Russians, and kicking some serious ass.
Mm-hmm.
They should take into account the next time to get their training programs up, and be working their athletes hard, so that we can give them the challenge they deserve.
I think that attitude may come from many people who don't want HEMA to be a sport.
Well, I think that the attitude also comes from people who just want to make it a sport, but a sport where they're just having fun. It's one thing if you want to have fun sparring in your backyard with your friends, or you want to have fun playing in small little events here and there. That's cool. That's what you want to do. But if you're gonna do that, don't take a spot away from someone who's gonna take their training seriously, who's gonna put that effort in, which is what it deserved.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it deserved, and I mean, Jake Norwood and Mike Ellison obviously couldn't choose the correct athletes in this thing.
If you're not going to put in the training, you're not going to get the results.
Wherever-
Absolutely.
Whoever heard that before? So I mean, yeah. This is kind of our right up on Minsk. And I ask you, go take a look at the videos and just see for yourself. The other thing too that always bothers me about European tournaments, and I mean, we'll probably end talking about this, is the poor quality judging and officiating. And I mean, I don't understand. I watch Swordfish. The judging quality and officiating quality drives me crazy.
Now, I understand judging is a difficult job. I mean, I've done my share on the sidelines, and you can't be everywhere and you can't see every angle, and there are things that are missed. And I mean, even the best judges are not 100%. But they are so off so many times. You just kind of wonder, do these guys even fence?
I definitely know I've seen some of the people in there. Some of them definitely fence. Some of them definitely fence at a high level. But I mean, I'm watching the judging and stuff, and I'm kind of wondering. I see things that are completely a flat contact. You're gonna get a couple here and there that are gonna sneak through.
Mm-hmm.
There's no denying that. But when I see half these flat contacts or insufficient strikes being called as full hits.
Well, as far as I know, there's not a lot of Europeans that do cutting with sharps.
That certainly, I think, does pose a problem. Because I guess if you don't understand how a sword goes through medium, you can't judge it to be insufficient or flat.
Now, there is something to be said for cutting with sharps. I know there are people that sort of disagree with this, but the first couple of times you take a sword to a tatami mat and you realize if your edge alignment is off just even slightly and it just goes chunk and stops, it really makes you aware of, just how important edge alignment actually
And
is.
some power generation.
Yes, that too.
You know what? I love taking a new student and giving them a water bottle to cut. A simple, humble water bottle. And they bring their sharp sword up, and when their edge is off alignment, as you've been telling them during training for 3 months, and they hit that bottle and it flies across the parking lot, and they look disappointed.
They do the walk of shame. They have to go walk across, pick it up, put it back on the stand.
And everybody has a chuckle because everyone's been there. But they never do it twice. They correct the edge alignment, they make the cut through. Cutting is so important.
That's interesting. Someone's asking the question, do you think they should have implemented video judging?
Implemented video judging. We'll go through just before we continue here, we'll go through some of our things here. So on the video judging, I think that we're too early in this right now. Technology has to come up for us to get accurate video judging. And even then, we gotta know how to judge the tempo, and people gotta agree on what the tempo is to judge it properly. And as for Mr. Long said here, yeah, everyone is disrespected when this happens. Viewer, sponsor, practitioner, you're 100% correct. That's the truth. People want to see good fighting and good competitions.
Hello, Tony.
Hey, Tony Nava's back on. As for Sawyer, go have fun at Short Blade. It's a tough it's small but a tough tournament. You definitely know you're gonna be in some fights.
Oh yeah, no, I really, really like this one because it sort of brings together some of the Eastern and the Western styles, and it's basically they'll take whatever length of the blade is. So you'll have some, like I said, you'll have your messer, and then you'll have your Filipino equivalent, and it's really, really cool to pit different systems together and just challenge yourself and see how it works.
But that's a good segue right there because when we talk about judging, right?
Hmm?
We introduced Belton Lupus to our judging. He's the head of Warrior Strength Martial Arts down over in Seattle area, and I mean we introduced him to our system, our very simple judging and rules system, and man picked it up like that.
Hmm?
And this is a guy who's very clearly highly skilled. He knows what a fight's supposed to look like. He knows what edge alignment's supposed to look like, and as a result, he picked it up so fast. When I can see a man who's never done a HEMA turn before take our rules and judge them super accurately, and I see like experienced top tier HEMA fighters not be able to do the same thing, one has to wonder how good they actually are.
Yeah, this is
Because
great.
Belton, man, picked it up like that, literally, not even exaggeration. Like an excellent director and official, literally just awesome. And so, for back to Short Blades, right?
The Nordic rule set and that freaking koi toss thing.
But yeah, yeah, like as Morgan said up there. Yeah, guess what? 70% is considered good, and it's been considered good for judging for a long time. If we get 70%, that's not bad. If we allow people to self call, and that brings us closer to 80 or 90, which we find in VHG, that also works. I mean, you're not going to be 100% 100% of the time, and that's forgivable. But when I see people landing flats that are called as good strikes repeatedly, I see flailing, insufficient contacts that are easily seen as insufficient contacts, and that lightsabering makes up the majority of your technique. I mean, there's a serious problem in your tournament rule set.
Yeah, so sword is not a lightsaber. Tapping somebody with it is not going to get in the fight. So.
Yeah, and that's Jeff Kim actually puts a good point there.
Yeah, it looks like they sacrificed quality and competence on the art of looking more professional.
I mean, looking more professional. Like, I mean, I guess I could dress in a suit and be like, I'm a judge. Now wear some muscle shirt or polo. I mean, it's a little more easy to throw the polo on, get her done.
Mm-hmm.
As for the Nordic rule set, I never liked the Nordic rule set. I think the weight after blow thing is idiotic. If you take a Principe upside the head, guess what? You aren't going to make an afterblow. The only afterblow you're landing is on the ground.
Yes, absolutely.
So, and you don't believe me? Go set up medium. Go set up zombie. Go boom heads. Take a razor sharp sword like something that Julian shoots. He sharpened and cut through something.
Or heck, even that experiment that we did where you're coming in and somebody takes that shot with a single stick to the leg, it collapses your structure. They're not able to actually throw anything afterwards. So I mean, yeah, just test it on something that actually hurts.
Cindy from our island location, one of our assistant instructors over there, and amazing person and fighter. She notes that there should be an official body of judges in HEMA. They're trying to do that, but it's being done through the Long Point League. So if someone like Michael Chister is involved, man, it's gonna suck like big time. So it has to go through club first. In order for the judging to improve, club members, senior fighters need to basically do coach sparring all the time with their club mates, and they got to be critical. But they can't just be like, "Hey, that hit was awesome, that looked great," and just constant positive feedback. They need to be like, insufficient contact, keep fencing.
Yeah. Or give them feedback. Insufficient contact, why and how. And the only way that you're going to get better at it is by doing it constantly.
That is the absolute solution. Before we can have any certification for judges, real certification and real skills, the skills need to be built in their club.
Yes.
Period.
So fencing each other and then judging each other. You can't judge if you don't fight.
I mean, you're my worst critic. Garbage. Keep fighting, Lee. Or
because you know what? No one else will tell you.
Well, don't worry. Julie and Steve definitely do.
Well, now they do.
Eric loves to tell me. This is like a favorite thing. If I look at him and I've landed a crappy strike, man, he gives me the biggest smile on his face because he gets to tell me I'm wrong. So I mean, that is actually a really big thing, right? When you start looking at that, you build not only build trust with your club mates, you build judges because they start seeing the action. I say we have people just before their assistant instructor rank starting to learn how to judge and direct, and I mean that's why I can field like 20 pretty skilled judges to an event and make it work. What's up?
They were saying events should have
We were just
cadre
talking
of,
about that.
yeah, no.
Yeah. So I mean, as for Jeff Kim said, yeah, like he's right. Like the pressure to keep the judging prompt. I mean, we should have more pressure on the fighters to keep the fencing super clean. We shouldn't. The judges shouldn't be there to like humor the fighters like weak contacts. They should be able to like, hey guys.
This is something that we tell our fighters. It is your job to make it clear. It is your job to make that strike clean enough that the judges can see it and be confident that yes, this is absolutely what happened.
And it's funny when you're throwing cuts that are like good, they're rotationally good, they land on edge. It becomes pretty obvious to anyone but the worst officials. So I mean, the fighters got to do their part as well. But I mean, when you're in a tournament like this, it's high pressure, and any hits being called, all it takes is one bad judging pool, and the whole thing will sink. The fighter, no matter who the person is, myself included, and I've definitely been there and done this, and that's why I can't stand going to some of these tournaments, is that the fighter will sink to the rules, right? And everyone's guilty of it, and you don't want to be. You do it subconsciously because it becomes the thing about winning. And then you look at your video afterwards, and you're like, oh my god, that's horrible. And then your coach staff looks at your videos and gives you a look, and then you go work on stuff. That's basically how that works. It's sad. It's true. I've been there. You really haven't been there, but I've been there. And honestly, when you have good judges, directors, and judges who are serious about correcting you, you rise to the level of what they want. And that's what we have to really promote, I think, in the judging community, is getting the fighters' level to rise.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Someone's asking about Eastern Euro rule sets and judging styles.
That I'm not going to really I'm not going to comment on that so much, Eastern Euro judging the rule sets and styles, because I haven't fought in their tournaments. So in all fairness, I can't really say, if I haven't fought in a tournament or even been to one of their tournaments, it's not really fair to say.
It's not really fair, yeah. You can't really comment
I
on
mean,
something.
I've seen some weird rule sets they do. I don't think that they'll probably work very well when reading the rules, and some of them might work pretty well when I've seen some of the stuff out of Poland. So I mean, it's mixed. Depends. It's country to country, of course. So, but I haven't been there, and so if I haven't been there, it's not fair to talk about it.
No.
But I have definitely been to Western Europe, and outside of ILHG, which was run by Lopez.
Yeah, that was a good
And,
one.
but Lopez and I designed our rules together, so I mean, maybe I'm a little biased.
Just a little bit.
Yes, a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So, any questions from our audience here? So, I mean, we're coming to kind of the end of our Minsk discussion on our talking points. This will become a regular show. Again, our opinions are our own.
Yes.
So our students don't always agree with them. Half the time they won't, and that's fine. But I mean, it's a pretty hot topic of discussion. And I mean, congratulations to Rob Childs for really representing North America well, and his very clean and skillful rapier style.
Yes, and I'm happy for Miles too. I'm glad
Yeah,
that you checked that guy out.
Yeah, Miles took a load up. Very happy with that. As expected. So I mean, those two. I guess single rapier was like the real highlight of for North America in that sense. But yeah, so we're gonna do this regularly. We're gonna pick topics. It'll probably be once every 2 weeks, as we're hoping to manage this. The Coach Smith, and so we'll have different episodes. Eventually, it won't just be titled Episode 1. It'll be titled with what topic we're discussing. We also want your guys' interaction as well. So if you're gonna ask us a relevant question, like in our chat, we'll read it off, and we'll read off relevant questions. And
also, too, if you guys have anything you'd like to hear us talk about, or anything you'd like to have discussed, please let us know. We'd be happy to oblige.
As for the false set, she's right. Like, no worries, man. I'll always be blunt, for better or for worse.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, as for the Nordic rule set, I mean, there's a bunch of them. The weighted afterblow rule, probably in my opinion, the most problematic. If people game it, they'll take a hit, they hit you back, and at a higher target value. And
yeah, like literally take a hit to your arm,
hit you in
and
the
then
head.
hit you in the head.
I mean,
I'm like, no, that doesn't work.
I mean, yeah, anyone who's doing like even medium level cutting knows that that's not very martial. So, And I mean, that is, and they, yeah, the afterblow is historical, 100%. The afterblow was probably a thing that was brought in to make people not tip tap. So if you have insufficient contact
Well, you think about it, if all you do is cut somebody,
and tip tap them,
yeah, exactly. I'm bleeding a little bit, but I'm not ending the fight. I can still hit you. So it makes sense in that regard. If you're going to just like little nick somebody, which is what a tip tap cut would do, then yes, it totally makes sense. But you can't put an entire tournament that way. You're not going to take a blow to the head and then hit somebody.
yeah, like
they,
and we can't. It's not, and like in North America, where it's pretty litigious, we can't exactly do blow spect in tournaments. We can't hit each other upside the head with a steel sword, legally speaking. As George Coffey says, yes, the Mince tournament is up on YouTube already. There's 11 hours of it, so enjoy. You're in for a real treat, George Coffey.
Yes. 11 hours of
11
flat,
hours.
Bad
But
judging,
but you will be rewarded. There are some good matches in there.
Yes.
So I mean,
it's not all bad.
it's not all bad. So there are some good matches and good fighters in there. But I mean, you do have to wade through some stuff, and that's just how it is in any tournament like this. So wait, if you don't like something, just kind of like go through fast forward, and then find the things you do like and enjoy watching that. That's what I would recommend in this tournament. So, but yeah.
11 hours of fun.
Yeah, 11 hours. I think 11 or 12 now, maybe. I'm not sure. Something in that range.
I have no idea.
I think it was I think it was almost 12. So 11, between 11 and 12.
Okay.
And it's up on their YouTube channel. I think there's like 500 subscribers or something.
Yeah, it's possible. There's a lot of people that watch this stuff. The afterglow was also in place with way
less protective gear. Exactly. It was in place with way less protective gear. And like when you consider it, if you take a blunt fader upside the head, and a proper rotational strike, the chance of you landing the afterblow is pretty low. Also, chance of taking a hit to the head to hit someone else back
also be really
also
low.
much lower.
Mind you, our insurance premiums would go through the roof.
I would. You know what? Could you imagine saying this to our insurance agent? Hi, I want to hold a tournament.
So we hit each other with steel things.
One steel longsword, 3.5 pounds, right in the noggin. What do you think about that? I think I'd be laughed out of there so quickly.
Well, as far as there's a question here whether judging should be restricted to fighters who do both cutting and dueling.
Well, unfortunately, we're not at that level yet, and that's the reality. Is like we don't have enough people. Like I actually think all schools should be at practicing cutting the minimum on water bottles.
Yeah, at least getting some experience.
Like I don't think there's a single piece person we allowed to judge in our school that has at least cut a water bottle.
Yeah, but that's our school. The thing of it is, when you go to events, most judges are volunteers. So these people are doing this just because they want to have an event and they're participating in it. So yeah, we sort of have to take the best that we can. And sometimes that means, no, these people may not have had any cutting experience. We do expect them to have fighting experience, though. I don't think I'd ever take a judge that hasn't fought.
I never take a judge that doesn't fight. That's a big thing. They gotta have fighting experience at an absolute minimum. Herman says he has zero knowledge on competition rules. There's a lot of different competition rules to look at. So I mean, I can't even list that many different rules over the years. It's endless. People have different variants on everything.
I think our camera just died again.
Oh, camera.
I gotta figure out how to make that not happen.
Should be up again.
We'll see. We got a 5-second delay. We might cut out in a couple seconds.
Yeah, one more than a 5-second delay. So yeah, sorry if we might actually have a cutout here. I think it seems to be still up.
Nope, there it goes.
There it goes.
Let's see if it comes back.
Just add a little thing here on.
Okay.
Let's see if it comes back.
And soon.
Well, I pushed the camera button again, so let's see if it comes back up. This whole camera turning off in about 20-minute mark is exceptionally annoying. I think it's a feature with the 7AD, like feature.
Okay.
So, see if it's up.
Audio still up, audio still on. Fantastic, you can still hear us. Well, we're gonna work on this for our next live stream to figure out how to get our camera to last longer than 20 minutes.
So I think we'll sign off now.
Yeah.
So guys, bad news. Looks like the camera has in fact overheated, and we have to basically call off for the night. Thank you for watching our live stream,
We will be back in 2 weeks.
and we'll have a different topic.
Yeah, so like I said, if you have any requests or things you'd like to have us talk about, please let us know. We will be happy to oblige.
Thank you guys for watching our first episode of Coach Smith, and
We look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.
we'll have better cameras. We'll have a camera fix. We promise.
All right, thank you.
All right, have a good night.
End stream.
Yep. That's true.